What did we discuss in our previous class? Quick recap. Anyone remember? Where did we finish? Which verse were we?
18.39.
18.39. Yes, you are right. We completed till 18.39. But was there anything that was left towards the end?
5-7 minutes discussion.
5-7 minutes discussion. So we discussed. What were we discussing? Anyone remember quickly? Let's recap.
5
factors responsible for. What are the 5 factors responsible for action?
Soul, super soul, senses, endeavor.
the body. Place of action. Endeavor.
Okay, so why is it important to know all this?
The ultimate doer is the super soul. It's important to know because the ultimate main point is the ultimate doer is the super soul because he sanctions everything. So if you, with the self-ego, if you are thinking you are the doer, you are the most foolish person.
Yes. Okay, good point. Anything else?
These 5 things are required in order to do any activity.
Yes.
And then we can understand basically how to sort of use or how to understand why things are happening. In a way to try to balance, try to control.
Also, we discussed from verse 19 to 39, which we ran through. We talked about different aspects in the 3 modes of material nature. We talked about knowledge. Anyone remembers what is knowledge in the mode of goodness?
Knowing that the soul, he looks, the person who looks at every living entity, the spiritual side, that he is the soul. That is the true knowledge in the mode of goodness.
Okay. So that knowledge which leads to self-realization is the knowledge in the mode of goodness. What is knowledge in the mode of passion?
Material desires.
Material desires.
Different body.
Everyone in different body.
Huh?
Every different body has a different type of entity.
Correct. Thinking that different body means different type of living entity. That means the soul is also different. That is called as mode of passion. Essentially, people in the mode of passion, what is their type of knowledge? They write theories and doctrines. They write their own theories and doctrines. Like Srila Prabhupada, I was explaining in today morning's Bhagavatam class. I don't know how many of you heard, but I was giving an example of, we were discussing Vatsalya Ras. What is Vatsalya Ras? So as part of that, we were discussing how people do not understand who is Krishna. So when we say Krishna is God and we are celebrating his birthday in Janmashtami, people say, what? God was born on this day? Okay. To who? Then we say, Devaki, Vasudeva. Then they say, who is Devaki and Vasudeva's parents then? We say, some other devotee. And like that again they say, if you go up, then who are their parents? Ultimately again it comes back to Krishna. So the people cannot understand these things. Also we discussed this morning that these there are many things that are a different realm of reality which we do not comprehend. For example, it is said that the universe is supported by Dig Gaja. Dig Gaja means what? 4 elephants in different directions. Dig means direction. So in 4 directions the elephants are supporting the universe, and then somebody may ask, who is supporting the elephants? So it's a giant tortoise which is supporting the elephants. So these things are very difficult for the common man to understand and accept because it is a different sense of reality. Just like the cobbler and the brahmana, everyone knows that pastime, right? Threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. So people cannot understand, and then when you explain, then people understand. Like that. So we don't know what explanations are there for these things. But still the Vedas are clearly talking about these subject matters. So Srila Prabhupada once was going on a morning walk, and Srila Prabhupada wanted to know the meaning of one English word, and he went on asking everyone, do you know this meaning? When he said, no Prabhupada. Another person, do you know the meaning of this word? No Prabhupada. Do you know the meaning of this word? No Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada turned to Harisauri Prabhu, and Prabhupada asked Harisauri Prabhu, Harisauri, do you know the meaning of that? Harisauri Prabhu said that I don't know the meaning of this word, but I think And Prabhupada, even before he could complete and give his opinion, Prabhupada cut him short. He said, if you don't know, then you are a fool. And if you think after you don't know, then you are a rascal. So Prabhupada made this statement. So Prabhupada says fools and rascals everywhere. Why does he say? Because fools because of ignorance, rascals because after ignorance we try to speculate on these knowledge. So therefore, the mode of passion, knowledge in the mode of passion is full of theories and doctrines, full of speculation. And what is knowledge in the mode of ignorance?
Body is the tool to enjoy.
Correct. Keeping the body, just knowledge enough to keep the body comfortable. Just learn Java in 21 days so that you can be comfortably earning and that's all. Nice eating. बस खाने को मिल जाए बस एक ऊपर घर के ऊपर सर के ऊपर एक छत हो. People talk like this. Just a roof over my head. That's all. So this is mode of ignorance. Then we talk about work or action in the three modes. So work in the mode of goodness is what?
Regulated. Without attachment, without materialism.
Without hatred and without attachment. No. There is no trace of attachment and then there is no trace of hatred. What is that called as? In Sanskrit? Raga Dvesh. Right. So it's beyond that. And then what is work action in the mode of passion? Action in the mode of passion is basically aimed at you put a lot of effort and get sense gratification out of it. So that is work or action in the mode of passion. Mode of ignorance, action is what? That action which is in illusion, which disregards the scriptures, which propagates violence in society. That is called as work or action in the mode of ignorance. And we have enough examples of that in the recent days. Performer. What is performer in the mode of goodness?
Sense of duty, determination and enthusiasm.
Very good. Someone who has sense of duty, determination, enthusiasm, who is undeterred by success or failure. Okay. So you are not there in last class, no?
I was.
You were there? आप लोग दोनों थे last class? Okay, somehow I thought you were not there. Okay. You are answering everything so good. Okay, what about performer? What is performer in the mode of passion?
Attached to work, vessels, fruits.
Greedy, envious, impure. What is performer in the mode of ignorance?
Against scriptures.
Against scriptures, cheating.
You are reading from Bhagavad Gita now? Materialistic, stubborn, cheat, insulting, lazy, procrastinator. So we saw all these things.
Procrastinator.
Pardon?
Everybody is procrastinator.
Understanding. What is understanding in the mode of goodness? Did we do that?
Yes.
Okay. What is understanding in the mode of goodness?
Healthy fear of Maya.
Correct. Healthy fear,
Fearless.
as well as being fearless.
What is to be feared and what not?
Not to be feared. Very good. Who knows right from wrong? Who knows what is binding? Who understands what is binding and what is liberating? Understanding in the mode of passion is understanding that cannot differentiate between religion and irreligion. Cannot differentiate between right and wrong. Which is, we also discussed that in your Bhaktivedanta yesterday. Point 2. People don't understand what is religion and what is irreligion. They get mixed up in Kali Yuga. And then understanding in the mode of ignorance is what?
Everything is religion.
Understanding all irreligion to be.
Religion is religion and every religion is religion.
Understanding irreligion as religion. There one cannot differentiate. Here one is very sure that that which is irreligion is
Religion. 100%.
there you are not sure. Therefore you are speculating. No. But here you are absolutely sure that my religion is to drink alcohol. That is it. That's my religion. You are very clear on that. So people are very convinced about so many things, which is not religion at all. Then determination. Lord Krishna talks about determination in the mode of goodness. Did we discuss that? No. So determination in the mode of goodness is that determination which is unbreakable. Nishtha. Nishtha means what? Determination. Keshav Prabhu was saying in the Srimad Bhagavatam class last week when we were discussing the pastime of Bali Maharaj, that most of the people in ISKCON, he was saying, are struggling in the stage of Anartha Nivriti stage. Rarely few people are there who have come to the Nishtha platform. But it is very important to come to the Nishtha platform. to be very consistent in our devotional practices under any situation of life. And that is itself very difficult for us. I have heard of a devotee called Gaur Gopal Prabhu in Chapati. I have heard that whatever time that he goes to bed, he does programs for the rich people, wealthy people in South Bombay. So even if he finishes the program at 1:30, 2 o'clock, he's still there for Mangal Aarati. So when you see such people, then you know where you are in your devotional map.
If you stretch yourself, then you are not like damaging your health, right? So that is what I am asking.
Yeah, definitely. Too less rest also Lord says is bad, and too much rest is also bad. Sometimes we vacillate in both the areas. It's not that all the days I am only having too less rest. Some days there is too much rest also. That is also possible. So that is not Nishtha. No? In this situation, maybe it's going on this extreme, but there are other situations when it will go on that extreme also. Like that. The goal of Krishna consciousness is being internally having Krishna inside the heart. Prabhupada was asked once, Prabhupada, how can we please you? And there were different devotees, stalwart devotees. Some was a book distributor, excellent book distributor. Another was an outstanding preacher. Third was an excellent deity worship person. They had come from all walks of life. So they asked Prabhupada, how can we please you? And they were expecting Prabhupada will tell about this particular service, open temple, this, that. Prabhupada simply said, if you can love Krishna, you can please me. What an answer this is, right? So that's all Prabhupada is expecting. He is not expecting us to do big projects. Not expecting us to be GBC member, board member of ISKCON, or being recognized here and there. He just wants us to love Krishna. That's all. Very good.
He also said, Prabhupada said, that if my devotee is struggling with Maya, then that makes me happy.
Yeah. Struggling with Maya means sincerely fighting against it.
Yes.
There is no struggle if there is submission. Okay, I want to see Shah Rukh Khan movie. Dekh leta hu, chalo. There is no struggle there. It is submission. Struggle means I will not see. That is struggle. Rather I will do something else. So, pardon?
Saying amazing answer.
He said Haribo.
Struggling with Maya is very amazing.
Yeah. Struggling with Maya is very amazing. So all of us are struggling with Maya daily. And Maya knows how to hit us, where to hit us. So we really have to do Chintan Manan. It's very important to take a step back and keep thinking, what am I doing? Otherwise we are doing so much that we are not thinking what we are doing. Like that. Right? So determination is that unbreakable, which controls the activities of the mind, life and senses. Such a beautiful statement. Lord is saying, determination, dhriti, or determination is that which makes intelligence firm in its decisions, which prevents us from performing degradable actions. How nice this is. Determination prevents us from performing degrading activities. How nice this is. Right? One of the biggest issues that a Grihastha struggles with is remaining celibate in the Grihastha ashram. So determination prevents us from performing degradable acts. Okay, determination in the mode of passion is what? Fruitive results in religion, economic development and sense gratification. This is determination in the mode of passion. They want fruitive results. For example, when we were discussing the subject matter of Vatsalya Ras this morning, so Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport in the 10th canto, where he is describing, he is saying that if anyone wants to develop Vatsalya Rasa, what should one do? One should meditate on Yashoda Mai. And her description is given of how she is wearing her sari, how she is standing, what kind of necklace she is wearing, and how her hair is, right? And it is said that she is churning the butter and milk is pouring out from her breasts, overflowing out of love for Krishna. So Prabhupada says we must meditate on these devotees, but meditate not to become these devotees. That is Maya, Prabhupada says. Not to become these devotees. So, determination in the mode of passion is what? To become someone great. And then I was giving this example of the Dai Nippon Press in Lilamrit, when we were publishing, Prabhupada's books were being published. So Dai Nippon Press, negotiations were going on with them. So the Japanese board of who are the senior members of Dai Nippon Press were there. And then they all discussed and they all left. Only one person they left behind for negotiations, one senior officer. Negotiations officer he was. Okay. So they were negotiating the price, like that. And at the end, Srila Prabhupada asked that person, what is your goal in life? And what that person did? What did that person do? He took all the visiting cards of the delegation from Dai Nippon, which had left before him. He placed all the cards here, like this, and then he took his visiting card and placed it right on top of it. He said, this is my goal of life. I want to become my boss. I want to be in the boss's seat. Okay. So this is determination in the mode of passion, fruitive results in religion, economic development or sense gratification. Even in religion. See, Yara deke tara kahe Krishna upadesh. Hamara agya guru hana tara. What is the understanding of this? No? I got the understanding of this verse when I took my second initiation. In one stroke I got that understanding. In one sense. Thanks to my spiritual master. I would have never understood that verse. Okay. Amara agya guru hana tara desh means what? By my order all of you must become gurus. So when I asked my spiritual master, how can I serve you, Maharaj? After he gave the Brahman Diksha, I was coming out of his room and I asked, how can I serve you? He just looked at me and said, just be an example to other devotees. My whole life, that one sentence is, there is no end to that. Be a good example means what? Be a good example in every aspect. In your sadhana, in your seva and in your sadachar. In everything you be a good example. And then I realized this is what Mahaprabhu is also telling. Amara agya guru hana taraya desh. If you are an example, are we not a guru to others? People learn by our examples. As simple as that. So it doesn't mean you have to take a danda and you have to sit on the top of, you have to be a GBC board member and then you have to be one of the registered initiating spiritual master. No. Amara agya guru hana taraya desh means it's very simple. People see you, they want to be a devotee. So, absolute integrity in our dealings, in our absolute sincerity in our chanting, where people see you and then they get motivated. It doesn't matter you are an initiating spiritual master or not. For example, Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. He is not an initiating spiritual master. But there is a queue. There is a queue of devotees. Why? Officially he is not initiating spiritual master. But simply you see that personality, you know that yes, oh, what a purity this is. What an example. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to be yourself. Just your pure self. Then people will come. He is not soliciting devotees anywhere. Nothing like that. In fact, in the car, one day I was driving him to Mill Park. He is telling me, hey, you tell people to take from somebody else. I am not qualified. Like that. 3 years back he told me that when I was driving him somewhere. So then last year again when I was driving him, I told Maharaj, I just want to let you know, I told you this. No? Did I tell you? No, I didn't tell you. So I said, Maharaj, there is a lot of, and I was talking about Mill Park devotees. I said, Maharaj, Mill Park devotees, they are following all your instructions except one instruction they are not following. What? Which one? What happened? He said, he got concerned. What happened? He said. So I said, they have made Vyasasana for him and so many things he told and they are all following all that. But one instruction, he said, Maharaj, they are not listening to you. And he was what happened? I said, Maharaj, last time you told that you tell them to take initiation, aspire from somebody else, that there are more realized persons than you. I just told him like that. I knew that I was playing with fire actually because he is a very grave person. उनके साथ मजाक बोला तो you have to be very careful. अभी किधर थप्पड़ भी लग जाएगा. He wouldn't do that, but I'm saying that you can't joke around with such a personality. He's not a personality to joke around with. No. But still somehow I was having a spontaneous conversation. I said, कुछ भी हो जाए, मेरा मन में मैं बोल दूँगा. So I said, Maharaj, I couldn't tell that to them. Even I didn't obey your instruction. That one instruction. Maharaj, and I know that I will not obey that instruction of yours. Then suddenly he stopped for a while and then he started laughing. He was doing like this. And then he said, okay. And then he didn't tell anything. Then we talked something. But he started laughing after that for some time. Then I realized, okay, I'm safe now. At least he laughed. So then he didn't tell. Then afterwards, then he became again grave. Then he again told me, actually, their board is having some meetings. There is one more meeting. In his typical self, he said, the board decision has not yet come. They might have decided in Mayapur, but I am in Melbourne, so I don't know. So once they decide, then you can tell them. That's what he said. So he still answered that question of mine. So I knew that acha ho. So here is a personality who did not have that position, but then who's attracting everyone along the way. If you see, this is an example. So this is the real understanding of Yara Dekhe Guru Hare Krishna. By our life, then we are examples. Somewhere I heard this. A pure devotee is one who does not preach through the mouth. Who does not preach by speaking or something like that. Who preaches by his... We can give hundreds of classes, but people are observing what we are doing. People are observing and they will form their opinions. They know what we are doing. And we also know what we are doing. Determination. Determination in the mode of ignorance is what? That determination is only at the dream level. In Point Cook we were talking about Mungeri Lal. Have you seen that? Mungeri Lal ke Haseen Sapne. There was one serial many years back. Mungeri Lal used to think, something that he is the Prime Minister and all. He's a big shot and all. Yeah. And suddenly he comes to the ground reality after that. So, like that Mahmood said, na khayalo mein, he said, Mahmood, Krishna bola no. So this determination is only khayalo mein, only at the dream level. Correct? Determination is only at the dream level. It's not in real life. Yeah, I dreamt that I was attentively chanting. And I've taken a vow to chant attentively. And then the alarm is ringing, stop. Only at the dream level. Like that. And determination, that determination which has fearfulness. I am taking a vow not to touch, not to drink tea and coffee, but I am very scared. Like that. You are always scared. Should I do that? Should I not do that? That is lamentation after taking a determination. Oh my God, I took a vow here. Kya vow le liya abhi maine? Bahut mushkil hai. What did I do? That is lamentation, mode of ignorance. And moroseness, being always sad. I have decided to follow the 4 regulative principles in life. सब लोग एंजॉय कर रहा है लाइफ में, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, सब इतने खुश हैं सब लोग. Look at the tram, look at some casino, सब ऐश कर रहे हैं, मैं ही मर गया इसमें. This is called as moroseness after taking a vow. This is not determination. Determination means happiness out of the determination, not moroseness. I have to follow fast, like that. Shamanand Prabhu was telling in one class. Janmashtami people ask, today what are you celebrating? God's birthday. Oh, birthday means you are feasting, eh? No, we are fasting. They said we fast. And then everyone was. So this is how. So not lamenting or morose. That such a determination is in the mode of ignorance. Then happiness. Happiness in the mode of goodness. So this is a very beautiful statement. It's very oft quoted in ISKCON. In the beginning, that happiness is poison, and towards the end it is nectar, because it awakens one to self-realization. So all these austerities, following the 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds attentively, in the beginning it is austerity, but in the end it will give high rewards. Whereas enjoying now will lead to disastrous results later on. So happiness now and suffer later. So like some fisherman was there, I think. Prabhupada was going for a morning walk. Some fisherman was there, and then he had caught a big fish, and then he was very happy. And then I don't know whether I don't know whether he offered it or something like that. Prabhupada said, no, you enjoy and suffer. Prabhupada said after that. Anyone remember? In the morning walk it happened.
Then Keshav said.
Keshav Prabhu told that, I remember. You enjoy, Prabhupada said. And then slowly he said, and suffer. So this is enjoyment, happiness in the mode of ignorance. Happiness in the mode of goodness is happiness that comes only after some time. It doesn't come immediately. Happiness in mode of goodness comes after, that happiness it comes after some time. Because it entails giving up sense gratification. It requires practice. It requires sadhana. It requires control of the mind and senses to derive full happiness. So it's obviously it is poison towards the beginning, but nectar towards the end. Happiness, which is in the mode of passion, is that which is immediate, requires no practice. I want immediate happiness, abhi chahiye. Like that. Happiness in the mode of passion. It is nectar at first, but poison later. Happiness in the mode of passion impresses an increasing number of desires upon our consciousness and forces us into the cycle of birth, disease, old age and death. Okay, is it clear? It impresses, it makes lasting impressions in our mind. When you start enjoying something based on what the mind demands, then those enjoyments form an imprint in your heart, and then dil mange more. Actually it is like that. You want more of that enjoyment. Like that. Then happiness in the mode of ignorance is that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, Lord Krishna is saying, which arises from sleep, laziness and illusion. So now we come to verse 40. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes of material nature. So is anyone free from the modes of material nature? No. Sab phase hue hain usme. Everyone is in the same boat. So Prabhupada writes that the Lord here summarizes the total influence of the three modes of material nature all over the universe. So it's a universal problem. Everyone is bound. So as I don't know whether I mentioned this, but Radhanath Swami Maharaj, so I don't know whether he said that or somebody else said. I don't know, some lecture I was hearing. I think it was a message. It was a message, Daily Nectar. He said that what a jail Lord has made. You remember I told you this before? What a jail the Lord has made, that from this jail there are no walls in this jail. Everyone is suffering in this jail, but still nobody wants to escape. Right? So this is the impact of the modes of material nature. They keep you firmly shackled. There are different chains. Iron prison, iron chain, silver chain or gold chain. But still it is a chain. Keep us bound. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes. O chastiser of the enemy. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which Brahmanas work. So now we're talking about different qualities. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. This is very interesting. Yesterday in the Point Book program, after that, a lot of devotees were talking to me, and there was one boy, I was very impressed with him. He was nice, tagada body he had. This boy, I saw that he was just very attentive. I have never seen in a Bhakti Vriksha somebody being that much attentive for the entire duration, not even one wink. And what time did we end the class yesterday? Pretty late, 9:20, and then after that it went up till I think 11 or something, right? Pardon? Prabhu? Yeah, so it was almost like Brihat Banu Prabhu. That kind of attentiveness. So he's an example for all of us. So almost I was thinking of you at that time. Anytime. We need making jokes in the class. Okay. So attentive he was. And after that, and very grave, he was very grave. So yesterday we tried to make the class little bit humorous. Okay, like that. But this person, everybody was laughing, but this person did not laugh at all. But still he was very serious. He was not one of those snobbish kind of persons. Or Naya Sungal. Like that, no. There are those personalities also you will find. But this, I initially thought, but then he had a notebook in his hand. So he was like, amidst all the humor, like, we were giving that goli, like the Yamunalila used to feed Aditya in the childhood. He used to give the medicine. Before that, she will give some, chocolate, whatever that he likes, not chocolate, sweet, and then she'll give medicine, again sweet. Again, before medicine, now another sweet. So we were putting, we were packaging the philosophy within a lot of humor yesterday. So this person was like that person who was, what do you call that as, like, which is that swan? It exactly takes what? So he was really, he was breaking his notebook and noting down. And towards the end, he came and sat and decided. He had a lot of questions and he was asking me. So he asked me a question. He said that I want to do, I do bodybuilding. And then my wife is telling you, what is this? You are a very selfish person. You are taking care of your body. So then he had this question, and he was very serious. I said, "मुझे पता लगा ये क्या सवाल है?" But actually, he was very serious about that question. So then, obviously, he told me, "Is it a sin to do that? Because she makes me feel like that." So I said, "No, absolutely, it's not a sin." In fact, once I remember Radhanath Swami Maharaj and Gary, his friend. You remember that? So Gary is a bodybuilder, and Maharaj is a saintly person. So both of them were spiritual quest. So, but Maharaj said, so Gary was telling Radhanath Swami, what kind of friends we are. We are the best of friends. I am an instructor in Malibu gym. Okay, and I tell people that build your bodies, and you go on telling everyone you are not your body. What kind of friends are we? So Maharaj said, no, we are actually supplementing each other. So I am telling the people that to place Lord Krishna inside their body, something like that. And you are teaching the people how to take care of the temple so that Lord can reside there. So some answer like that. It was very nice. So therefore, I had this opportunity to tell him that. And then I also told him that no, there is nothing wrong in taking care of the body, because aham mameti, when you think my body, then only there is a problem. So when you start thinking that this body, like we buy rented house, no? We live in rented house. We have to take care of the rented house because it belongs to somebody else. So we have to take even more extra care of that. So this body is on bhada, is on rent to us. It's temporarily rented to us for some time, and it is a tool which is given to us for attaining self-realization. So actually it's a property of Krishna. So I told him that verse, Ishavashyam idam sarvam, and he was very happy. He was very satisfied with that answer. That everything animate and inanimate belongs to the Supreme Personality of God. So therefore your body also does not belong to you. The moment you start thinking it's my body and you start abusing it, that's a problem. You say that no, it's a body which is given by the Lord. I must take care of it and use it for the purpose for which He has given me. So with this body I will do service in the temple. For doing that service I need to be fit. So I said no problem. So you can do that. Not a problem at all. And I said that for doing, if you are a Kshatriya mentality person, then you may get Kshatriya services also in devotional service. Sometimes you need. I remember once there was one person who came in the temple and you needed some person to control him. He was kind of trying to be physical with the devotees. And I know at that time Kesha Prabhu is very strong. Kesha Prabhu came and he just bounced over him and jumped over him. So can you say that no, this is mode of passion or ignorance? No. He was doing his duty to protect the temple, the devotees like that. And that requires strength. I cannot go and do that. Correct? I'll be finished in 1 minute. Correct? You know what will happen? All of you have to come to hospital. Prabhu, kaise hai? Ho gaya ka surgery? So that is not my cup of tea. So for us, peacefulness, self-control, austerity, we have to try that. Heroism, power, all these things are Kshatriyas. Of course, Kesha Prabhu is a Brahmana Kshatriya. He is everything in one sense. So he is equally good Brahmana also. So the very exemplary devotee like that. So heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle. These are all natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Farming, cow protection. See, Kesha Prabhu is here also. Farming, cow protection and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas. And for the Shudras, there are labor and service to others. So, Chatur Veda Bhajante Mam What is the answer? Is that the one? Chaturvarna Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhaga. So based on the gun, then this division is there in society. So Lord Krishna explains the quality of work for each of these 4 varnas. A Brahmana's work, he says, is to cultivate and teach. Pathan, Pathan, Yajan, Yajan. Okay. So that is why this Krishna consciousness thankfully gives me a lot of fulfillment. Because I was born in a Brahmana family. So, of course, we are not born Brahmana, I was never a Brahmana. But still, somehow by the Lord's arrangement, at least came in, somebody was a Brahmana. That's why, we say we are born in a Brahmin family. So this Krishna consciousness has given a good opportunity. Otherwise, we are doing Shudra's job, Monday to Friday, right? But then we get this opportunity in Krishna consciousness to do Brahmana job, being born in a Brahmin family. And what is that? Patan Patan, teaching and education. This is actually, and I know by nature it gives me the maximum fulfillment, teaching and preaching, because that is my major seva. Like that. So one must dovetail one's propensities in Krishna consciousness. Then it is very fulfilling. And Anil Prabhu also is such a nice temple president. He's a real leader in that sense. He knows how to spot people and put them in the right services. So I told you, in the kitchen when I was getting, he told me, I would rather you open a program in the northern suburbs. He said, no, you are not meant for a kitchen. And even when he recommended me for Brahmin initiation, actually he spoke direct call he made to my spiritual master, from here. When, even after the letter, it was taking some time. So he directly called up, straight away, there. And then I asked him, Prabhuji, you are asking me for this initiation, what do I do? Pujaris are needed, shall I, what is the reason exactly? So he said, no, I am not doing it for pujaris. And I don't see you as a pujari also, he told me honestly. And I realized that the very first time I went into the altar, I was struggling with that conch shell. Something was to be blown and some other sound was coming. So I realized, I'm not cut out for, that's not the real strength area for me, being a pujari. It's a strength area for so many people, but it's not my strength area. I'm doing it because the devotees are tolerant, so they are giving me opportunities despite my inefficiencies there in that department. But that's not the area where I know I'll do very well. Okay. So, but Anil Prabhu realized that. He said, no, I'm not recommending you. And he told, Yamuna Leela, fine. But I'm not seeing you as a pujari in the altar. So even if you don't go to the altar, I will still recommend you for Brahmin initiation, he said. Why? He said, because you are a preacher. So therefore, we want our frontline leaders to be Brahmanas. So to be an inspiration for others to take Brahmin initiation. So because you are a frontline preacher, therefore, at least he thinks so. Okay. So therefore, we need. So this is very clearly he said, and he told that to Maharaj also. So that is why I want them. It's not because we are short of pujaris in the temple or something like that. And even if there was shortage, then it's not that by my great efficiency that will be that's all right. It's not like that. Okay. So therefore, an astute leader is one who knows everyone's strength and channelizes them according to their strengths and propensities in the right services. So a Kshatriya, Murugan Prabhu writes, a Kshatriya must have Ishvara Bhava. Ishvara Bhava means what? Ability to control others. This is where we also struggle in office, because sometimes devotee means more Brahmanical qualities. So, in Tamil we say, Molaga Arakana Talela. What do you mean by that? What do you say? What do you say? They take us for granted. Ullu banate hain. They take us for granted because we are soft. No? They take us for granted. Like that. Thinking we are very soft. Okay. They don't know that is because of devotional life we are very soft. Otherwise we also know how to give it back. They don't know that. And we consciously also don't want to give it back. Because devotees, by nature, you always choose non-violence over violence. Like that. So a Kshatriya must have Ishvara Bhava, ability to control others, but must use such power for protection, not exploitation of citizens. A Kshatriya must use power. He must use anger, but for the right purposes, not for controlling, but for protecting. That is the right use of anger. So, and one can reach perfection by simply understanding this tattva, varnashrama dharma, and by performing the prescribed duties. Is it clear? So that is why suddenly this Brahmana Kshatriya is coming. So one can do these activities. So you don't refrain from doing activities. But those activities you do based on the role that you have, again which is based on the propensities which you have. So, while doing these activities, whether as a Brahmana, whether as a Kshatriya, whether as a Vaishya or a Shudra, what must be our mood? That may be a question. So, Lord answers that in the next verse. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Okay? Just see, what is the last sentence? If you read the last sentence only, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Split the sentence into two. You will understand it better. Just read the last sentence. What is that? A man can attain perfection through performing his own work. But what is the prelude to that? By worship of the Lord, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So just by performing Varnashrama Dharma, one will not go back to Godhead. Daivi Varnashrama. By performing Varnashrama Dharma, such that dharma is leading to the worship of the Lord. So, if our tendency is Shudra, Kalau Shudra Shambhava, all of us Shudra, that's why we are going to office and working under someone. No? So, we are doubting our Shudra tendencies by working. We cannot escape that. Thank you very much. So, we are doubting that propensity by going to office, because we cannot sit idle at home. Right now we are not at that mature stage. At least I am not, and I have said that several times. No, to go and retire in the Holy Dham. Nowhere near that. Okay, it will take some years, definitely for me at least. Okay, because there is a lot of mode of passion like that. So till the time it all dies down and Mother Nature brings me back to my hosh. Till that time, we have to struggle. And then we have other responsibilities also. Family responsibilities are there. Right now we cannot just leave everything like that. So because of that, somehow that Shudra mentality of working, we are going and working, taking the bag and baggage and going every Monday. But then we offer the fruits to the Lord. We use that money to worship the Lord. We use that money to buy a house for doing programs and preaching. So then that job becomes pure. Then there is no reaction to such kind of work. There is purification through such job. Though we may not be able to see the connection, but the connection is there because the fruits are there. We accept that this is what the Lord has ordained for me at this stage of life. So I have to go and do this job. And then everything is Bhakti Yoga after that. And the tests which come there, you take it as a test which is giving you for your progress and detachment. And sometimes a lot of tests we give on the workplace for our progress and detachment. So, verse 46, the Lord is saying that by worshipping me, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So, Gurujan Prabhu writes that one has to always think that Lord, I don't know whether Gurujan Prabhu writes this or Prabhupada also writes this in the purport. I forgot. But anyway, you have read and come, so you should be able to tell me. So, but it doesn't matter who has said that. It is mentioned that we must think that Lord Rishikesh has engaged us in a particular occupation for our purification, whatever may be that occupation. We must think that I am going to my office because of the will of Lord Rishikesh, who is the controller of the senses. By the results that work gives us, we must worship Krishna. Is it clear what this verse is trying to say? Although one's work may be within the modes of material nature, it can be practically turned into bhakti by the process of Nishkama Karma Yoga. By not getting too attached to that work, right? And by offering the fruits to Lord Krishna. And our internal mood should be such that may the Lord be pleased with my situation in life and with the work that I am doing. So, this verse 46. So may you be pleased with my work, my dear Lord. Like that. So whatever activities we are performing, may the Lord be pleased. Such thinking is the perfection of life. And when we continuously just work, accepting the situation which the Lord has put in, doing our limited best, tolerating situations, that it is His desire, and giving the fruits to Him, offering the fruits to Him, that will itself lead to perfection. And then the Lord Himself takes care of our deliverance. Let's go back to chapter 12 and see what verse 7 has to say. 12.7. What does it say? But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. The Manmana Bhava. Oh no, it's different verse. Almost sounds like that. Etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara. Nice verse. The Lord says that I am the swift deliverer. You just do your work. That's all. Very practical application. Just do your work. Offer the fruits to me. I will deliver you. Very simple. Now,
So Prabhu, in one way, we are saying that He will deliver, and then initially you said we have to go through all the rasas, then we have to be in the final stage, anartha nivritti, different. So isn't it contradicting?
what?
To reach to His abode, we have to have that ultimate rasa, which you were talking about, prem. And over here, it is just offering. Whatever we do, if we just offer to Him in terms of the fruits, He will take us back.
Yes, He will take us back. Take us back means what? He will award us with His devotional life.
Ultimately.
He will award us with more devotion.
Yes.
When He awards us with more devotion, we will become more detached and more attached to Him. And therefore we will chant more attentively. Therefore we will do all the bhakti activities nicely. And then therefore we will move to nishtha. Therefore we will move to ruchi. That's how it works. It's awarded to us. Bhakti is awarded. Morning also I was telling, this rasa is awarded. It's an endowment. It's endowed. Bhakti is awarded. And we will do more of this in the Nectar of Devotion. We will start Nectar of Devotion soon. We will discuss more of these aspects. Rasa and all that. Some aspects we discussed in today's class also, in Bhagavatam class. But we discuss obviously much more in this classroom. Now the question is, what if one possesses nature and qualities of work in one varna, but wishes to perform work of a different varna? That may be a question, right? I am established in Brahmana, but I want to do Kshatriya job. Or I am a Kshatriya, but I want to do Brahmana job. Like that. But this is normal varnashram term. Please understand. So what does the Lord say? It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born out of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. So I strongly recommend that you read these purports offline. I'm sure, most of you have read and come, but still, those who did not get time only this week to read, those people, please read.
Never get time.
I know what's the truth, reality, but I will not say it loudly.
Prabhuji, you have doubt.
One second. Just hold it and come back to you. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments. Please hear carefully. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Just hold your question for a minute. So, a Brahmana has to sacrifice animals, a Kshatriya has to fight Or Kshatriya has to practice diplomacy, like that. A Kshatriya has to also practice duplicity. Sometimes we have to do that. A Vaishya has to lie for making profit. If you go and say, if he tells you how much did this cost you, if you tell 10 rupiah, somebody is saying 10 rupees, $1, $2. How much did it cost you? 50 cents. Then you give me 50 cents. No? Why you are looting me? No, like that. So obviously you can't do. This is like, otherwise Tukaram business. We can't do business like this. So if you are a Vaishya, you have to lie. You cannot tell everyone, oh, actually this is my cost price. I am making this much profit because this is the industry margin we have to make. Nobody will come to you. Correct? So you have to say, I am not making any profit. आपके लिए ये price है, special price for you.
Below cost.
People will tell. Huh?
Below cost price.
Below cost price I am giving you like that. But margin बराबर लगाया है like that. Okay. So duplicity. So Vaishnava lies on profit. Shudra executes orders of a bad master. Anyone can relate to this? We have to implement instructions of a bad master. Where does it happen? So Lord says there is no duty without a fault in this material world. Lord Krishna confirms that all prescribed duties, not only Kshatriya's duties, they are all full of faults. Therefore, we must cleanse away the faulty part of our duty by offering the duty to Lord. Every man should work for Yajna Purusha or Vishnu, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas when we do personal sense gratification out of the earnings from our job, then such personal sense gratification causes bondage. Okay? So regardless of our income, our standard of living should not change. We must remember that always. And for the sake of science, for the sake of self-realization, we must give careful attention to that part of the duty which gives rise to knowledge. Not all parts of our duty will give rise to knowledge. But if by chance some part of our duty gives rise to knowledge, we must give extra special attention and try to derive more out of that. Does it make sense? For example, in people management, if that is a part of your job, and that gives you some knowledge, like that, or makes you humble, or increases your tolerance levels, then no problem, Lord, let it come. Let people give me all that dirt, and then you make me more and more humble and tolerant in my life. Like that. Some parts will really make you more and more tolerant, especially you are going to enter corporate life, so you realize how it is. For the sake of, so worship Lord through one's work. That is the key message here. The most important point now is detachment and devotion while working. Please note this point down. This is the most important point. Detachment and devotion while working. What are the two things while working? Detachment and devotion while working, not renunciation of activity, will cancel the defects which are inherent in the work. How nice this is. What did we say? Detachment and devotion while working will cancel all the defects that are inherent in the work. So do it with detachment. Go to office, 8 hours, work as if you are very passionate, but within your heart, be very detached from what is going on. And remember the Lord as much as possible during the day.
Prabhu, can you repeat that once again?
Detachment and devotion while working, not merely renunciation of activities, but detachment and devotion while working will cancel defects which are inherent in work. You can read this in Unveiling, Surrender unto Me book. It's all Gurujan Prabhu's notes. Worship the Lord through your work, and that will then elevate our knowledge. The results of our work must be enjoyed by the Lord. Idam Krishnaya idam namama. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. Give him the results of our activities. And such a person who does that in Krishna consciousness automatically attains perfection without having to accept the sannyasa order. You don't need to. Then you are a grihastha who is doing all these things, doing your duty with detachment and devotion, such that all defects are getting cancelled, and such a person is as good as a sannyasi, right? Who is performing arti in the temple, for example, or who is doing preaching, like that. And such a person is said to have attained what is called as the Yoga Rudha stage, which is the perfection of yoga, Yoga Rudha stage. So now, from verse 50, Lord Krishna is describing some more steps in climbing the yoga ladder. As I said, this is a revision of, nothing but a revision of what we have already known. It's not very, very new, whatever we are learning here. But it's good to have that revision. So verse 50. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. So, the verses which are now coming, these verses refer to a yogi who is on the path of Jnana Yoga. Go back again, you remember? Lord is describing Karma Yoga section, Jnana Yoga section, and then it will now come to Bhakti later. From the next class, actually, we will come into the Bhakti fold. Today we are now discussing the Jnana part of working. That's why so much it's philosophical in that sense. Okay. So these verses refer to the yogi on the path of Jnana Yoga who has purified his consciousness through work and thus progressed upward from the stage of karma to jnana. So right now whatever we are discussing, it is progressing from the stage of activity to the stage of knowledge. You remember what all we discussed? That find out the portions out of your work which gives you knowledge and do those very carefully. So you develop more and more knowledge and realization like that. So this is moving from karma to jnana. At the karma stage, one leaves the mentality of a doer and expectation of profit. That's what happens at the karma stage, which we already saw. I am not the doer. Don't expect results out of it. No? So at the karma stage, one leaves the mentality of the doer and expectation of profit, and with time, one perfects one's sadhana also. By working like that, with time, one perfects one's sadhana. Now, after having ascended to the level of yoga, what does the person, the karma yogi do? He gives up that work itself, which is our vanaprastha. Right? Work as a duty till you have to, and then finally give up that work itself. This second stage, this is the second stage of sannyas. This is the second stage of sannyas. Now, while this is applicable for a person who is following in the systematic ladder from karma to jnana, it is said a devotee does not attain Brahman realization in the same way a jnana yogi does. A devotee doesn't have to ascend through this whole ladder, because a devotee simply by performing devotional service, right from the very beginning he is getting freed of his false ego and he moves forward to realize and serve Parabrahman. Here, serving Brahman is mentioned, but a devotee directly serves Parabrahman. So right from Karma Yoga itself, because the Jnana Yoga component is also there for a devotee, directly he is ascending to serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman. But still, because Lord Krishna has to conclude the section of the Jnana Yogi whose goal is what? Brahman. Still because of that, the process practiced by an advanced Jnana Yogi to elevate himself is further described in this section. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship and peaceful, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. So, Srila Prabhupada mentions that one who is purified in his intelligence always keeps himself in the mode of goodness. He is very careful not to fall trapped to the mode of passion and ignorance. And by that, he becomes a controller of his own mind. And therefore, he is always in a trance. Because you have now controlled your mind. So you are experiencing bliss. Because it is a mind which troubles us. Right? So when you can control the mind, then you can experience bliss. That is what I was saying in the beginning of the class. When we are able to chant attentively, that means we have won that little battle on that day with our mind. And then that bliss which you experience, there is no parallel in this world to that bliss. Not even all the appreciation which you get out of preaching is not even one drop when compared to the bliss. When you know that Lord is sincerely rewarding you for your effort. That bliss is completely different. So that is a trance which we always look for. Sometimes you will realize that. There might have been, I'm sure, times when we have chanted attentively. Do you realize the bliss when you get? You are chanting Hare Krishna, and you are feeling, my God, why can't I always do like that? And you are praying to the Lord after some time, Lord, please, no, don't take me out of this. Now I am chanting attentively, don't take me out of this. And then after some time, it invariably happens. He goes away. And then, oh my God, kahan gaya wo lamha? Where has that moment gone? You feel like that. Sometimes I have experienced it while chanting in Brahma Murta in the temple. I have experienced it. Usually, always it happens in the temple. When I am chanting at home, I am the most indisciplined. But when I am chanting, Brahma Murta in the Arati, and when you have nothing to do, you can't multitask when you do that in the temple. You have to be attentive, like that. So therefore, then you start experiencing. At home, you tend to multitask when you chant, right? That's the most of our problem, including mine, right? But when you chant, then you can see that, you can feel. Where you are thinking, okay Lord, now next 12 minutes only for you. Kuch nahi, serious. And then you struggle, and then He rewards you for that sincerity. And then those moments of chanting, you yearn for that again. So freedom from attachment and hatred. So this Jnana Yogi has freedom from attachment and hatred, lives in a secluded place, has sense control, no false ego, no material desires, and has attained the stage of self-realization. This is called as the Brahma Bhuta platform. Okay. How is that platform? What are the characteristics of this Brahma Bhuta platform? Leading us to verse number 54, which is again a very famous verse, key memory verse. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati nakamshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu man bhakti bhavate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman. One who is situated like this at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And one is in full consciousness of me by devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of Godhead. So what is the transition you see between these two verses? Here is the transition point between Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. This is that point. Can you see the transition happening? So let's go back to the verse number 54 and conclude the Jnana Yoga part. And from the next class, we will again start with 55 and discuss the Bhakti Yoga part. Because from now onwards, everything is going to be Bhakti Yoga up until the point of Sharanagati or surrender. Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Mamana Bhava. All this. Okay. So, this is a key memory verse. So, it is mentioned for the Jnana Yogi, if the desire of the Jnana Yogi was to become one with Brahman, he will end his spiritual quest at this point. His spiritual quest is ending. If, however, he were practicing yoga to attain Lord Krishna's service or has had the fortune of sadhu sangha, associating with highly exalted Vaishnavas, his desire at this point in time will change from becoming, merging with Brahman to now starting to serve Parabrahman. So even a Jnana Yogi with one moment of association with a pure devotee, his whole goal can change. And now he can penetrate the Brahman layer and open the Hiranyamayana Patrena, that veil which is covering the Lord, and come to see the Lord face to face and then further serve him in his spiritual world. So that is what has happened to him. So such a Jnana Yogi then takes to Bhakti and progresses further from this point in time. Okay. So the question comes then, what happens to such a person after attaining devotion. Once you go through the Hiranyamaya Patra and now you are attaining devotion, then what happens? What is the experience that the person will get? That is what the Lord is now going to explain further. Which starts at 55. One can understand me as I am. So what's the first reward for crossing that Jnana Yoga? You can understand the Lord as He is. Which means in His original form as Vrajendra Nandana Krishna. One can understand me as I am. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one can understand the personality aspect of the Lord. Only by devotional service. Which also means what? By devotional service one can attain that. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So we will see the Bhakti Yoga section from now till the end of the chapter. Okay. So all these verses are now very interesting. It has got deep Bhakti everywhere, which we will all enjoy more than Jnana sections. So in 2 classes, we hope to complete the Bhagavad Gita now. And then we will start Nectar of Devotion, which is actually nectar. So I am preparing my own self for hearing for that program. I am hearing a series of lectures by Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. If you want to hear, you can hear. That is the reference point for that. And please, if you do not have this book, I strongly suggest you buy this book. It is called Waves of Devotion by Dhanodhar Swami. That will also be a reference book for our Prabhupada ki Jai.